Commander Sarah Chen stared at the tactical display, her coffee growing cold in her trembling hands. The impossible readings flickered before her eyes like a fever dream she couldn't wake from. "Confirm identification," she whispered to Lieutenant Torres at the communications station. "Confirmed, Commander. It's the Meridian. Registration matches perfectly ESV 2847, launched from Lunar Station 17 years ago." Torres paused, his voice catching. "Ma'am, that ship was declared lost with all hands after it vanished during the Proxima Centauri expedition." The bridge of the Earth defense ship Vigilance fell silent except for the steady hum of life support systems. Every officer present knew the story. The Meridian had been humanity's most ambitious deep space exploration vessel, carrying 200 of Earth's finest scientists and explorers to establish the first interstellar colony. They had vanished without a trace, just outside the heliopause, swallowed by the cosmic void as if they had never existed. Now, 17 years later, it had returned. "Visual contact established," announced Ensign Rodriguez from the sensor station. Putting it on main screen, the view screen shimmered to life, revealing a sight that made Chen's breath catch in her throat. The Meridian hung before them in space, but it was no longer the sleek white research vessel that had departed Earth's solar system decades ago. Its hull gleamed with an otherworldly luminescence, covered in geometric patterns that seemed to shift and flow like living circuitry. Crystalline structures had grown along its superstructure, pulsing with an inner light that hurt to look at directly. "Scanning for weapon signatures," Torres reported, his fingers dancing across his console. The readings that appeared made him lean back in his chair. "Commander, I'm detecting energy patterns unlike anything in our database. The power output is. Its reading is theoretically impossible." Chen activated the ship-wide intercom. "All hands, this is the commander. We have made contact with the missing vessel Meridian. All departments are to remain at yellow alert until further notice." She closed the channel and turned to her communications officer. "Open a channel. Let's see who's still alive over there." The main screen flickered, and suddenly they were looking at the bridge of the Meridian. Chen recognized the familiar layout, but everything else had changed. The walls were lined with the same crystalline growths they had observed on the hull, pulsing gently with bioluminescent patterns. At the center of the bridge stood a figure in what had once been an Earthfleet uniform, though it too had been altered with thread-like filaments of the same glowing material. "Commander Sarah Chen of the Earth defense ship Vigilance," she said formally. "Please identify yourself." The figure turned, and Chen felt a chill run down her spine. It was Captain Marcus Webb, the Meridian's commanding officer. She had known him personally, had served with him years ago on the Mars shipping routes. But while his face was unmistakably Webb's, his eyes now held depths that seemed infinite, filled with swirling galaxies of light. "Sarah," Webb said, his voice carrying harmonics that resonated strangely in the bridge speakers. "It's good to see a familiar face, though I suppose face is becoming an increasingly relative concept. Marcus, what happened to you? Where have you been for 17 years? Webb smiled, and for a moment he looked almost human again. 17 years for you, perhaps. For us, it has been several millennia. We encountered something beyond the heliopause, a civilization so ancient that they witnessed the birth of stars. They exist partially outside what you would consider normal space-time." Chen exchanged glances with her officers. "Are you saying you made contact with aliens?" Contact would be an inadequate term. "We were integrated, evolved. They showed us technologies that make our finest achievements look like stone tools. But more than that, they showed us perspectives that span galaxies and eons." Webb gestured to the crystalline structures around him. "This is what we have become, a hybrid of human consciousness and their quantum architecture. Marcus, I need to know, are you a threat to Earth?" The question hung in the space between the two ships. Webb's expression grew serious, and for a moment, the swirling lights in his eyes dimmed. "We have returned to warn you, Sarah. The beings that found us, they are ancient, but they are not the oldest things in this galaxy. There are forces moving in the deep spaces between stars, entities that view biological life as an infection to be cleansed. Our benefactors believe humanity shows promise, but you need to evolve quickly if you hope to survive what is coming." Chen felt a cold weight settle in her stomach. What kind of timeline are we talking about? Decades, perhaps a century at most. The Meridian and her crew have been transformed into something that can stand against these forces. "We can teach you, help you prepare, but it will require fundamental changes to what it means to be human." On her tactical display, Chen watched as energy readings from the Meridian continued to climb beyond anything her instruments could properly measure. Whatever technology Webb and his crew had acquired, it was clearly far beyond Earth's current capabilities. "I'll need to contact Earth Command," Chen said finally. "This decision is above my authority level." Webb nodded. "We understand. But Sarah, time is not a luxury we have in abundance. The choice facing humanity is simple: evolve or face extinction. We have returned to offer guidance, but the path forward must be chosen freely." As the communication link closed, Chen stared at the transformed vessel floating before them. The Meridian had vanished as an exploration ship and returned as something that challenged the very definition of human technology and consciousness. She reached for the quantum communication array that would carry her report back to Earth. Whatever came next, humanity's future had just become far more complicated and infinitely more dangerous. The stars, it seemed, were no longer empty.